I'm Mike Suluk from the United Design Guild, here with Evan, who just gave a great talk about getting bigger and better clients. 5 tips. Evan, thanks for the talk.
My pleasure. Great. No, it's awesome.
So how did you get into consulting businesses, specifically in the creative field?
Yeah, I spent the first 10 years of my career working in big companies, big businesses. I ran $100 million business units at Macy's and Samsung and some other companies, and did an MBA at Harvard. So I come from that sort of big business perspective. And then I started helping some friends and family with their small businesses. Like my first client, so to speak, was my aunt, who has a clothing store. And I just started giving her some advice, and it was really fun for me to work with her and watch her become a smarter business person, using some of the stuff that I learned in the big business world, like, and just translating that to her shop. And she started making more money. After a year of helping her, she doubled her profit. So I was like, wow, I have a hidden talent.
Yeah, it's great. From the few pictures you showed, she looks super creative.
She's
amazing. Like zippers everywhere.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. She's a very cool woman. And then I did an incredible personal development program that helped me get more of that internal confidence to just like go make that move, go out and find clients, and make those things that used to feel scary just feel more comfortable. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of gave me the motivation to go and start my own thing, helping small business owners just be smarter about what they're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you talked about the difference between internal roadblocks and business roadblocks. Can you explain a bit more about that?
Sure, yeah. It's, when I think about the most successful entrepreneurs, there's really 3 things, like 3 legs of the stool, so to speak, that make them successful. There's their expertise in their craft, like their subject matter expertise. Then there's the business acumen. That's kind of like MBA style skills in marketing and budgeting and things like that. And then the third one, which I didn't even realize was a thing, let alone a developable thing until recently, it's what I call internal or emotional. It's more like how you are, how you go about doing the things that you do. And the most successful entrepreneurs I find are always developing all those 3 areas and looking for what's the shortest leg of that stool that I could go invest in building so that I could be more successful. So, the difference between the business and the internal, it's a little tricky. You kind of have to sort it out a bit. Like, often someone will come to me and they say, hey, Evan, I want to grow my business. Like, my limitation is I'm just not a great marketer. Like, what's the marketing tactic that would be more successful? So that's like an example of like a business issue. Sometimes under the hood, there's something else going on. Like, I don't know how many of us have ever, we know the right thing to do, but we're not doing it consistently.
I think we all deal with that.
Right? So it's kind of like, yeah, you can ask me and I can say, yep, that's what you should be doing. But if you don't find yourself doing it consistently, that's more of an internal thing. It's like, well, how do you develop the consistency, the persistence? Mm-hmm. How do you not take it personally when you get rejected, right? Like, those are things that you can change really quickly. In the personal development program that I work with, we help people change those things so quickly so that you can just be on your A game every day, Time management is like another great example of the internal thing, right? It's like, how do you stay proactive when stuff's happening with your clients, when there's fire drills? How do you deal with scope creep? Like, how do you actually say no and put your foot down and have that confidence to do that?
Yeah, I think that was my biggest takeaway from this is we all know we're experts, the creatives. We know that there's a whole business side to it that some of us like, some of us don't like, but that there's this whole external or this whole internal part that sometimes there's our own internal roadblock stopping us from doing what we want to do. And I think that was the best part of your talk.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I mean, the really cool thing I found is that I found tools to help people actually change those things quickly.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that, because I think when you've been in this, you start to have the self-awareness of I keep doing the same thing that's not really optimal in this way, but then sometimes you don't know how to change it. Like, if you knew how to change it, you would have changed already. So.
Right. Yeah, I think it's great that even with this whole business side, some people aren't into the business aspect of it, but you could train yourself to start to like it more so it becomes something enjoyable for the whole process, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic, because when you do, you actually enjoy all of your business that much more, and you're way more successful.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah.
All right, well, Evan, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
That's great.